So from the US court, the battle now shifts to courts of law in India. In the United States of America, Tahawwur Hussain Rana, right from the district court all the way up to the Supreme Court of the United States of America, had tried every trick in the trade to avoid being extradited to India. And in the end, he used the Muslim card. He said he's a Muslim, he's of Pakistani origin, he's ex-Pakistan Army captain. So if he's sent to India, it's akin to signing his death warrant. The Chief Justice in the United States said nothing to him. The evidence against him is so strong that he was extradited to India following the India-US extradition treaty, relentlessly pursued by government of India and the government of the United States of America. Now he's been brought to India. He will face trial in the special NIA court in Delhi. And this trial, the world will watch, because in public domain, it's not some secret trial. It's not in some barracks. It's not some military trial like in a Pakistani court. In India, it's a civil court. The special NIA court will try him. All evidence will be put out in public domain. All evidence will be there in court, of course at a suitable time, because keeping national security in mind and not to compromise sources, some bits of information may not come out in public domain, at least initially. But former Home Secretary of India, G.K. Pillai, just a short while back, he went on record to say India has enough evidence to convict him, that's for sure. Probably he will also get the death sentence. And I'll get you all those aspects in greater detail. We have the finest team of reporters who join me on this broadcast. Akshita Nandgopal is at NIA headquarters. Nalini Singh is standing by at the special NIA court. Shivani Sharma is at the NIA headquarters, and she's been tracking the movement of this aircraft very closely. I also have with me Amit Bharadwaj on this story. Srishti Ojha will join us from the NIA court in just a moment. But Nalini, coming to you first, since this battle now moves to court, is he being brought to court in person and not video conferencing? That would indicate that Government of India is very confident that in full glare, he'll be brought to court. All the charges against him will be read out in court. Is that how the process takes place right now?
Gaurav, was that question for me?
Yes, Nalini.
Yes, well, Gaurav, that's what we are given to understand. In fact, there is a high likelihood, considering the kind of security that is deployed here. And I'm going to ask Ankit to show you the amount of police that is present right now at the gate of the Patiala House Court. Remember, the Patiala House Court is currently off due to the court vacation. And considering that it's past quotas, well past quotas at this point. But despite that, there is a heavy amount of police security that has only steadily been increasing since the morning that we've been here. And looking at the number of police officials and the kind of arrangements that have been set up here, we're given to understand that there is a very high possibility that Tahawwur Rana actually might be brought here in person. Of course, nobody is ready to confirm that at this point, considering the fact that it's a sensitive matter and he's a high security prisoner. So keeping all of that in mind, his movements will be confidential at this point. But looking at the arrangements, we can make an educated guess that we can expect him to be produced here physically. Now, as to what time that is going to be is something that we still have to watch out for, because remember, there have to be procedural formalities, Gaurav, that need to be completed before he can be produced before a judge, which includes all the procedural formalities relating to the arrest, along with the fact that he also has to undergo a medical procedure before he is actually produced before the court, because his health report will have to be submitted before the court during the custody hearing. Senior Advocate Dayan Krishnan, who is going to be leading NIA's prosecution when it comes to this 2611 larger conspiracy case between David Headley and Tahawwur Rana, is already present in court along with his team of lawyers. So the entire prosecution team of the NIA has already reached court well ahead of time before Tahawwur Rana comes. And we are given to understand that they will be making a request for his custody. Now, how long they'll be asking for the custody for, and in addition to that, how many days the court is going to agree to give the custody for, is something we'll know only once the proceedings are over. Gaurav, like we were telling our viewers earlier, we can expect a little bit of protracted hearing before the court, because once he is produced, the judge will conduct all the proceedings, all the arguments will happen, where the NIA prosecutors are going to be given a chance to give reasons as to why they want his custody and what they plan to do during the days when he is in their custody. So all of those details will have to be explained to the judge, because it's only on the basis of that the judge will decide whether or not, in fact, the custody should be granted. And after that, the judge is going to take some time to pronounce the order. The order will have to be pronounced today, Gaurav, and that is mainly because if NIA needs to keep him in custody for longer than 24 hours, they need to have a court order in their favor. So
absolutely, because the world is watching this case. The world is watching this case, and we want full transparency. We want the world to know, like India gave a free and fair trial to Ajmal Amir Kasab. Of course, many were upset with reports that he was fed biryani and kept in that AC Anda cell at the Arthur Road jail. Be that as it may, let there be a fair trial so that Pakistan continues to get exposed. Let every bit of information about Pakistan's involvement in this radical Islamist terror that is spreading in our country come out in public domain. And before I come to Akshita, I want to read out some of the charges against Tahawwur Hussain Rana, this Pakistani-Canadian terrorist. So he plotted 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks from 2005 onwards, incidentally. And there's some details I'm adding. He provided the blueprint. So this man, Tahawwur Hussain Rana, with David Coleman Headley, had the blueprint that helped Lashkar-e-Taiba, Hafiz Mohammed Saeed, who said, carry out reconnaissance in multiple Indian cities, because it's not just one terror attack. They wanted to continue to bleed India. And on India Today, we'll also play out, one response of Hafiz Saeed, which was captured at Muridke, where he said, Ek Mumbai kya hota hai? Ek Mumbai kya hota hai? They wanted to continue to bleed India. Had Balakot not happened, had India not bombed Pakistan, perhaps many more 26/11s would have happened, like they did after 26/11, when India was targeted, whether it's Zaveri Bazar attack, German Pune bakery attack, Pathankot, Pulwama, Udhampur, Samba, Kathua, so many terror attacks took place. But anyway, I want to now come to the next point. Aided the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks. He directly funded it, provided logistics, provided cover. He was a part of that criminal conspiracy. And there's a charge of waging war against the Indian state against Tahawwur Hussain Rana. Murder. 166 innocent people from over a dozen countries, including United States of America, Israel, many European countries and India, were killed in the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. He facilitated the travel of one of the key plotters, which is David Coleman Headley, and those details will also come out in public domain. There's so much evidence, and a lot of this evidence was in that Chicago federal court. We'll get you that evidence too. He helped conspirators based in Pakistan, and it's not just Hafiz Mohammed Saeed and Major Iqbal. There are many more. I quickly want to cut across to Amit Bharadwaj, who joins us live from the airport. Amit, take it away. Tell us what's happening at the airport. Amit.
Gaurav, we are getting you these visuals from the Palam facility. The traffic has been stopped. The regular traffic has been stopped by the security forces. The gate is open, and the Delhi Police's first vehicle is out of the Palam facility. Right there, you can see the carcades coming out. There could be a possibility of some other carcade. This is not the one we have been waiting for. This is an secure armed forces carcade which has just left, but be assured that the security has been beefed up at the Palam facility, and what we are given to understand that the final round of paperwork is being done.
General Anil Chauhan, that is CDS Anil Chauhan, who's just crossed. You saw 4 stars on that vehicle. It is the Chief of Defence Staff. Okay, so the traffic had been stopped because the CDS is also returning to Mumbai. Earlier today in the afternoon, it was Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh who was returning from the Defence Services Staff College, where he delivered a very, very important lecture for future commanders of the Indian Armed Forces. That was Rajnath Singh, Raksha Mantri, in the afternoon. And right now, it is Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan, who is just crossed that Palam technical area. General Anil Chauhan is also a 4-star general, but the difference in the color that you noticed, it was a darker shade of maroon in that vehicle, in the badges, in the plate that you saw, which had 4 stars, and that 4-star plate is of a 4-star general, which is only either the Armed Forces Chiefs or the Chief of Defence Staff, first amongst equals. But let me get back to the charges against Tahawwur Hussain Rana. Forgery, it's a very important charge. Cheating, that's a charge against him, and we will get you all these details. helped conspirators in Pakistan, facilitated 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. And Akshita, all of this shows this was a plan that was in the works since 2005. It was a very, very long plan. 2005 onwards, these people were plotting to burn India, and not just one city, Mumbai, but Kochi, Pushkar in Rajasthan, Haridwar, Hapur, Agra. This man had traveled across the length and breadth of our country, Akshita.
Very, very true, Gaurav. You know, this was a plan to go ahead and perpetrate terror attacks across the country. I'll just get you a quick update from here, from the NIA headquarters, where security has been completely also beefed up. You're seeing increased barricading. So, I mean, this is based and completely just conjecture right now because there's no official statement from the agencies. But looking at what we're seeing right now and what our reporters have been telling us, Gaurav, it looks like directly from the Palam airport, we're going to see Tahawwur Rana being taken to the Patiala House Court, the special NIA court there, for a hearing, and then in all likelihood he will be brought here to the NIA headquarters. So it doesn't look like he'll be taken to Tihar. Most likely here is where he'll be spending his first night here in the country. As far as Tahawwur Rana's terror links are concerned, Gaurav, he and David Headley reportedly were childhood friends. Then they got together in America, in Chicago, which is where he was based. He had a number of immigration companies and a slaughterhouse that he had set up. So he was a businessman in Chicago with links, of course, to the Pakistan Army, which you've been talking about. That he served as a doctor in the Pakistan Army. Now, at the behest of the ISI, David Headley conducted all of these recces. We know Tahawwur Rana also repeatedly travelled to India, including to Mumbai, where he stayed at the Taj Hotel with his wife. But David Headley, how was he allowed into India? He got his visa courtesy Tahawwur Rana. He managed to find places, accommodation to stay courtesy Tahawwur Rana. So all of this was done by Rana. Even his alibi, Headley's alibi, was given by Tahawwur Rana. Essentially, he was told by Tahawwur Rana, pretend you're setting up an immigration office, part of my organization in Mumbai. So it's with that excuse that David Headley managed to get visa and then get another one, and keep getting extensions as well to conduct all the extensive recces that were conducted, based on which Tahawwur Hussain Rana and David Headley went ahead and provided all information to the ISI, to the Lashkar-e-Taiba, and then this entire terror plot was hatched. Mind you, Gaurav, what was Tahawwur Rana serving a 14-year sentence for in America? It was because they were plotting another terror attack in 2005 in Copenhagen, in which the plan was to target a Danish newspaper that had put out a cartoon on Prophet Muhammad, to behead employees and to put out the severed heads out on the streets of Copenhagen. Just think of really what kind of terror attacks and what monsters these men were. And that's why it's so important really that Tahawwur Rana be brought to book. It's not just for Indians, but for so many people world across, because Rana was involved in terror attacks, masterminding terror attacks across the world, globally.
And this is something that the world must know, that these were Lashkar-e-Taiba sleeper cells in Canada and in the United States of America, plotting terror attacks even in Europe, carrying them out even in India. So for them, everybody who's not practicing their religion is fair game. And perhaps these are some of the aspects, Srishti, that will come out in court. And I believe security is being strengthened very extensively where you are, Srishti. So all indications, he will be produced in court, and not via video conferencing, but in person. That too sends out a very different message. The judge can see him before action, the next course of action is taken, Srishti.
Well, Gaurav, the entire day we've had to deal with the speculation of whether he'll be produced before Patiala House Court or he'll be produced virtually. The security, the major intense security deployment that we have seen both inside and outside Patiala House Court is clearly indicative that there's a possibility that in most likelihood he will be produced physically before Patiala House Court. All the media persons were also, including everybody present inside the court premises, were asked to walk out, leave the court. We're standing right outside gate 1 of Patiala House Court. Straight from here to the left is the courtroom where is court of the special NIA judge, which will hear the case against Tahawwur Rana. We've also seen the entire legal team that will be representing the prosecution, the National Investigating Agency, enter court a while back. We spoke to them, India Today spoke to them on camera. We tried to get a reaction out of senior advocate Dayan Krishnan over the successful extradition of Tahawwur Rana. Even though there was no response, they have gone straight to the courtroom for the hearing. Yes, there is still a possibility that in case NIA wants, they could still make him appear virtually while his the NIA's legal team is present before court. However, seeing the police deployment, it does not seem very likely. But as we know, it's a very sensitive, high-profile matter. Things can change at any moment. Once the court hears the matter, as the legal procedure goes, post his arrest and his medical examination, he has to be produced before the concerned court in 24 hours. NIA will have to tell on what grounds it is seeking Tahawwur Rana's police custody. What are the arguments that NIA will put forth is something that will be very crucial. Gaurav.
I want to bring into this conversation Professor Brahma Chilani and Ambassador Rajiv Dogra, two top analysts of our country, amongst the finest and those who understand the Pakistani psyche. Because when India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, who calls a spade, says bigotry is in the DNA of Pakistan, it's the Pakistan state and elements like Tahawwur Hussain Rana and Ajmal Amir Kassab, they're all 50 shades of that same Hafiz Saeed. Is that a correct appreciation? Professor Chilani, this is more than just an academic exercise, isn't it? Tahawwur Hussain Rana being brought to India and being tried here. What are we likely to find out from him after 17 years in your understanding, sir?
You ask a very relevant question. It's been 16.5 years since the Mumbai terror attacks, and finally the US has extradited one of the two key plotters who was resident in the US. And we have to ask ourselves if the US will ever extradite the more important guy, David Coleman Headley, who was actually more instrumental in orchestrating the Mumbai terror attacks than even Rana. But Rana is very important because of his close links to the ISI. Rana served in the Pakistan Army as a medical officer, and his association with the Pakistani intelligence and his links with Lashkar-e-Toiba, which is an ISI front, all that was significant, and he played an important role in scripting, in helping the Mumbai terror attacks. The bigger question is this, that the key masterminds of the Mumbai terror attacks continue to roam freely in Pakistan even today. And it's very unfortunate that India has been unable to impose real costs on Pakistan for having scripted the Mumbai terror attacks. In fact, Pakistan's strategy was to pass the 10 Mumbai attackers off as local Hindus. It actually even arranged the sacred Hindu thread for these attackers. The whole idea was that they would die in the attack and that they will be seen as locals. This entire strategy unraveled because of one cop, Tukaram Omble.
Oh, absolutely.
Tukaram Omble, an ex-army officer, provided the clinching evidence of Pakistan's involvement by sacrificing his life to get Ajmal Kassab captured alive. Think of a scenario in which all 10 of the Pakistani attackers had died. Not a single had survived. That would have fanned the allegations of some in India that this attack was a local attack, a locally organized attack. So we are fortunate.
Horrifying.
Yeah, we are fortunate that one guy, played such a pivotal role. He'll be remembered as a hero among heroes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the entire nation salutes Tukaram Omble for his supreme sacrifice. When we were covering the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, Professor Chilani and Ambassador Dogra and now Mona Alam also joins me from Pakistan. When we were covering 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks on ground, The next day, we visited that place where Tukaram Omble made the supreme sacrifice of his life, and I spoke to some of the Mumbai police personnel. They said he took a hail of AK-47 bullets to his chest because Ajmal Amir Kasab, he fired that AK-47 straight into his heart, but he just caught hold of him and grappled with him. He grappled with him, and that AK-47 jammed, so he couldn't change the magazine. And that's the time Tukaram Omble, he made the supreme sacrifice, but caught Kasab. Kasab couldn't escape from that grip. And that is how we have a Pakistani terrorist, that first Pakistani link. And very soon, that next Pakistani link emerged in the form of David Coleman Headley or Dawood Gilani. And the third was Tahawwur Hussain Rana. And Mona, can Pakistan just get away by saying that he's no longer a Pakistani citizen? He was born Pakistani. He served in Pakistan Army. He was in touch with Major Iqbal. He was in touch with Hafiz Saeed. There is electronic evidence, there is signal intelligence, there is human intelligence in the form of Abu Jundal, there is David Coleman Headley's testimony in the Chicago federal courtroom recorded by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Can Pakistan with one line say that he's not ours anymore and think that nobody will question Pakistan on support to radical Islamist terror, Mona?
Thank you, Gaurav. I think, firstly, this was a very tragic day, not just for India, but for the entire globe, I must say. For wherever humanity prevails, it is, and it was, and it still remains to be a very tragic day, 26/11. My deepest solidarities with the martyrs and the families, civilian families, innocents who had lost lives. But, talking about all these individuals, this is just like, calling or alleging that Dawood Ibrahim is an Indian. He's been a Mumbaikar all his life. He's born and brought up on the streets, or rather, should I say, slums of Mumbai, and wherever that he's coming from, it's all his Indian genes that's making him do all this. So it's very similar. The argument is very similar in case of Tahawwur Rana. He was in Pakistan, of course. There's no denying that he was born in Pakistan, I believe, Chicha Watni. But later, whatever that he did with his life, whatever path that he chose to go to, I do not understand. Fine, you quoted, I think, some electronic evidence which establishes that he was in touch with some individuals from Pakistan. I don't know if Hafiz Saeed was among them as well or not. But Hafiz Saeed as well, as we say, and I think we've spoken about it many a times on your programs, that he's under house arrest. He remains to be the proscribed individual here in Pakistan. We know nothing about his whereabouts. There are certain rumors that kind of surface about him from time to time. But even when we try to get hold or try to verify those rumors, try to find out or dig in further about those new rumors, even through our own journalistic sources, I must admit that, and I must confess that I come to know of nothing at all. There's absolutely darkness as to where Hafiz Saeed is. And if this individual was in contact with Hafiz Saeed, that I think can be established in a court of law if there is concrete electronic or technical evidence supporting that. But of course, whatever that he did, I don't think it was an individual act. It was a rather sorry, shameful individual act. I mean, I am very vocal. I have no embarrassment in admitting that whatever terrorist attack, attacking civilians, innocent lives, wherever that it may take place, it's just as pathetic. It's just as miserable as it is, as it is if it takes place in Pakistan.
Please don't get arrested tonight. Please don't get arrested tonight for saying all this.
Palestine, Kashmir,
you may just get arrested
India,
tonight, Mona.
Why
Please,
not?
I hope ISI does not arrest you tonight or raid your house tonight, like it has in cases of other journalists in Pakistan. They've blocked accounts of several other journalists in Pakistan, I'm told. But I want to bring in Ambassador Rajiv Dogra into this conversation, because Ambassador Dogra, you have a very, you have a smile on your face, because you're not convinced that Pakistan will take action against terrorists. When Mona talks about Dawood Ibrahim, hand him over, hand him back to India. I think that case will be sorted out. Why do you want scum on your land? We don't even want Hafiz Saeed on your land. Hand him to India. We'll take care of your scum. Ambassador Dogra.
Well, only he was in Pakistan.
I don't want to take issue with Mona Alam, but I'll make a suggestion that in case she is very interested in knowing the whereabouts of Dawood Ibrahim and Hafiz Saeed, all she has to do is ask the nearest ISI officer. He will know for sure. But that apart, I think there is a sigh of relief all over in India and all over in the civilized world that finally this mass murderer is here. He is due to land or has already landed to
Just
face
landed, sir.
justice, just to face justice in India. And there is no doubt at all that he was deeply involved in whatever happened on 26/11 because the American justice system, right up to its Supreme Court, has given a uniform and unanimous verdict that yes, this man deserves to face justice in India where his crime was committed. The second thing is, if at all we are able to get information out of him, and I hope it is done very quickly, we will finally be able to know if beyond Headley and beyond Rana, there were others involved in USA who planned and who collaborated in the 26/11 attack.
What an interesting
More than that,
aspect. Other sleeper cells of Lashkar-e-Taiba in US and Canada, I'm sure they also want to know, and we will tell the world about these sleeper cells. In UK we know, but go on, sir.
more than that, I'm also very anxious to know if during his travels to Visakhapatnam, Cochin, or wherever else, Delhi, how could anyone, any stranger, come to a city and zoom in on NDC, zoom in on our Naval Command headquarters? Obviously, there had to be some local help because otherwise, it's beyond belief that I go to Karachi or I go to Lahore and straight away go to the ISI headquarters and map it all, put in the GPS coordinates and send it to some agency in India. So the entire story needs to be told, not just to the Indian people, but also in wider international context to know the dimensions of the crime they had committed. And more importantly, to know who were involved in India in this crime, because that is very important.
On the Indian aspect, on the Indian aspect, Professor Brahmachalani, you and I will have a separate conversation, and that's a longer conversation. But as long as Mona is a part of this broadcast, I want to, for the moment, focus on the Pakistani link to this terror. Because Mona, since you have a smile, I want to explain to you. In India. Okay, there's more breaking news coming in. Give me a moment. Let me just take this quick breaking news that's coming in. Rana to be taken out of the airport in about 28 minutes from now at 8 o'clock. He'll be taken out of court and he will undergo trial at the special NIA court in Patiala House, in the heart of the national capital. And I want the whole world to actually witness Indian justice system in all its majesty when a Pakistani Canadian terrorist is brought to justice to face trial. We're showing you those live images from the Palam technical area of the Delhi airport. This is the high security Air Force side of the airport, and this is where Tahawwur Hussain Rana will be brought out from and taken to Patiala House Court. Now, from what sources are telling India Today, there's a detailed medical examination that is happening and is also to happen because this man, he was trying to claim that he's very unwell, and sending him to India is like signing his death warrant. Imagine the man who signed the death warrant of so many people, 166 died, is now shaking like a leaf, and that just shows you the true face of these bullies in Pakistan. The moment you tighten the screws on them, they bleat like lambs, and that we've seen even in counter-terror operations in Jammu and Kashmir that I've had the privilege of reporting for over 3 decades now. But I want to bring in Nalini Sharma for more on the story. Nalini, I want to understand now the process that is followed. It's a medical examination first and then presented in front of a magistrate or this learned judge. After that medical report is in front of him so that he can examine that and then question the accused or the suspect. Is that the procedure now?
Absolutely, Gaurav. That is the procedure, but how that procedure will be followed, which means that where exactly will NIA be getting the medical test done, is something that we still don't know. Maybe there are doctors already present at the airport, or maybe there'll be doctors at the NIA headquarters who will be called in. Because remember, he is a high security prisoner, so it is a security threat moving him around too much. So they're going to try and minimize the movement as much as possible to stop the exposure of Tahawwur Rana, at least until the time he is officially in NIA custody as granted by the court. So it remains to be seen how soon these procedural formalities can be completed and he can be produced before the court. What we can break to our viewers, the confirmed information that we have, is both the prosecution lawyers as well as the defense lawyers are both present inside the court. Tahawwur Rana will be represented by Advocate Piyush Sachdeva, who's just entered the court a few minutes back. Advocate Sachdeva is a lawyer that has been appointed by the Delhi State Legal Services Authority, which means that he is a lawyer that has been appointed only for this remand hearing that is going to happen today. His entire defense will not be led by Piyush Sachdeva until unless Tahawwur Rana decides so. We are also not clear whether or not Advocate Sachdeva has got a chance to meet Tahawwur Rana yet. In all likelihood, he's not spoken to him, and it will only happen once Tahawwur Rana has been produced before the court that Advocate Sachdeva might get a few minutes to interact with his client and to figure out what kind of defense should be put forth before the court regarding his remand custody, because Tahawwur Rana from his side at least is going to try and challenge the custody to as much extent as possible.
Okay. So that due process of law will be followed in a civil court for the world to see. Mona, can we expect Pakistan, on the basis of evidence that comes out in courts of law, to proceed against accused in Pakistan? Because India has submitted multiple dossiers to Pakistan. Unfortunately, instead of action being taken, Pakistan has actually helped those people escape. That's the information that we get here. Can we expect Pakistan, and considering Pakistan wants to be friends and Pakistan is a victim of terror on its own, as you claim, will Pakistan act against terrorists?
Well, yes, of course. I think I've already mentioned it, that if anything comes up as technical, strong, concrete evidence that he was in touch with any people, any masterminds here in Pakistan, then that should be established. And if those people are still in Pakistan, and if they're still roaming scot-free, then they can be, taken under custody.
Why
they
doesn't
can be
it
arrested.
happen? Why hasn't it happened? Dawood Ibrahim is in Clifton, Karachi. Tiger Memon is in Karachi. There is so much evidence. Pakistanis have written about it. Indians have written about it. Our guest on the show, Ambassador Rajiv Dogra, has met and seen them in Pakistan, and yet no action taken against Dawood Ibrahim, no action taken against Hafiz Saeed for 2611, no action taken against Masood Azhar, even though he tried to kill then President Pervez Musharraf, military dictator and Army Chief Musharraf. He tried to bomb him. Raw gave intelligence to Pakistan that he could be killed, save yourself. And yet no action taken against. I don't understand Pakistan's mindset, Mona. Can you help us understand?
Look, I think most of the individuals whom you've named, Dawood Ibrahim being seen or spotted in Karachi somewhere, I think that was many years ago, because he has a relative here in Karachi. You may be well aware of that. So I think
Javed Miadad, I'm not scared to name him. I live in India. I'm safe, hopefully.
Yeah, I think he is related to Javed Miadad. I'm not sure as to what exactly is the relation, but I think that children are married.
Dawood Ibrahim's daughter married Javed Miadad's son. Mehjabeen, and that Mehjabeen is his wife. That entire image, I mean, it's known to everybody in India, but that's okay. Go on, Mona.
Yeah, so if you know that, then of course there's no rocket science. He may have been spotted in Karachi due to some family connection here, but that doesn't mean Pakistan is harboring him. He may have visited Pakistan or Karachi. This was many years ago. All the accounts that you've quoted to me so far of Dawood Ibrahim, this is such a baseless allegation that Pakistan is harboring him.
Baseless allegation. Ambassador Dogra, is this baseless allegation? So I can understand those ISI-sponsored editors of the past decades, who would try to justify terror. If they said it, you could understand they came from a certain mindset. But if this mindset percolates down, there's a cause for serious concern, which means India and Pakistan can never even hope to talk, because that's an entire country that supports terrorists. Ambassador Dogra.
Well, Mona's smile gives it all away, so don't take her seriously. But Pakistan is a past master in denying that anything has happened on its soil which relates to terror. Osama bin Laden, they never knew the name. Who was he? So, Dawood Ibrahim, where is he? Is he in Baluchistan or somewhere else? He's certainly not in Karachi, in Clifton, almost opposite Bhutto's house. So Pakistan will deny everything that sticks or that is likely to stick to it as a conspirator in any kind of conspiracy of terror, criminal activity, drug mafia, and so on. So one has to take those denials as sort of a habitual offender.
Then is Pakistan a
one
fit case,
treats.
Ambassador, to be put back in the Financial Action Task Force grey list based on evidence that is generated? Because India must then tell the world, because Americans were killed, Jewish people were killed, Europeans were killed, Indians were killed, people from so many countries were killed in the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. Whatever Rana says, put it out, let the world see, let Pakistan be put back on the FATF grey list.
Well, as more and more evidence comes out and more information comes out from Rana, maybe that will lead to Pakistan getting back to FATF because it has not given up its ways. Pakistan is still indulging in terror, not just against India, but against many other countries as well. And now it is spreading its tentacles via Bangladesh into India. So Pakistan is up to its old game. It has never given it up.
Okay, Mona, is that a cause for concern for countries like Pakistan? We know about the financial condition of Pakistan, and I don't want to repeat that Katora jibe that happens all over. No, I don't want to do that, and not today. But does that, you know, you would want a brighter future for your next generation. I'm sure Pakistanis would want a brighter future. Why is your passport one of the worst in the world?
Look,
Why is your economy crumbling? Why is Pakistan still not taking action? Your generals are becoming richer. Your army chiefs' daughters have diplomatic passports, but your country people have the worst record of using that passport and trying to go abroad, Mona.
Look, I think this is absolute deviation from the subject. I would draw you back to the topic. And I think one baseless allegation of Dawood Ibrahim being harbored by Pakistan is being answered by another baseless allegation that OBL, Osama bin Laden, was harbored by Pakistan. I clearly recall there was a seminar by
He was
Hindustan
200
Times
meters from
when Barack
Pakistan
Obama.
Military Academy, Kakul.
Let me finish. I clearly recall Osama bin Laden. I was trying to say something regarding him. There was a seminar by Hindustan Times by former President Barack Obama, whereby he had actually said that when he was questioned, upon being questioned by similar rhetoric-driven journalists in India, that why was Pakistan harboring OBL all this time? Why didn't you take stern action against Pakistan? So, Barack Obama, I'm so happy that he rebutted that journalist right on his or her face. And he said that, Pakistan never knew that Osama bin Laden was in Pakistan until we provided them that
You should have
intel
sacked
about
DGISI
the
just
man.
that day
And that
itself.
is what eventually resulted
Rhetoric-driven
in
or
him being
not,
handed over to
that
TDS.
day DGISI should have been not just sacked but sent to jail for not knowing so many UN-designated international terrorists are living inside Pakistan. Ambassador Dogra, I mean, that is a fit case for Pakistan.
Your DG Raw should also be sent to jail for not having any intelligence about 26/11 attack, whereby former police chief S.M. Mushrif has authored a book that this was also an insider operation. And because you've been a...
Well,
pre-partition,
it would have been an insider operation. I completely agree. Pre-1947, when that terrorist part of India was also India. Pre-1947, maybe Mushrif lives in a time warp. But, seriously, Mona.
No terrorist act can take place without the support of local handlers. Please, I expect India to go after and chase those local handlers as well. This is what your former police chief has also been saying.
Absolutely. Those local handlers must be caught. I completely agree with you.
Be caught.
When the truth has to be spoken, in India we speak the truth. Those local handlers जो खाते भारत की है, गाते पाकिस्तान की है, उनको पकड़ना चाहिए. I completely agree with you, Mona. Unfortunately, that was not done in this country. I hope it happens now. And I want to quickly bring the details of Tahawwur Hussain Rana's interrogation, because now I know this is one reason where Pakistan Pakistan state-sponsored radical Islamist terror. And you know why I want the External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar's statement to be played out again and again and again? Because Dr. S. Jaishankar very systematically pointed out bigotry is in Pakistan's DNA. There is no difference between an illiterate Ajmal Amir Kasab from Faridkot and a highly educated medical doctor, Tahawwur Hussain Rana, or a DG ISI called General Ashfaq Parvez Kayani, who then went off to become their army chief, because it's an entire chain that carried out those terror attacks, or that so-called Ghazwa-e-Hind against India. I completely agree that Indians need to wake up to this and realize that there is this 1,000-year Ghazwa-e-Hind that Pakistanis are waging against us, and we don't realize that, Ambassador Dogra. We need to wake up, and wake up now.
Exactly. So that is why Rana's coming here or being brought here is a godsend in a way, because we had forgotten all about it, just as we've forgotten all about 93 attacks in Bombay. So I think this is a reminder that terror is not far away. Terror is just one bomb blast away. And secondly, the entire story as to how it was planned, how it was executed, can be sourced from Rana, because he was one of the main instigators and planners of 26/11. We don't realize the full dimension of his activities or his involvement. So I think coming days will bring us more information. And the country needs to be reminded frequently as to what it was facing as a disaster, not just in terms of 26/11, but all over India, because their plan was pan-India. Their plan covered Cochin Naval Command. The plan covered NDC, which had the cream of Indian Army and even foreign officers, defense officers who are present there at any given moment. So it was quite an insidious plan. Fortunately, as you said, Kasab was caught, and then the entire story went the other way. Now, this is the beginning of a new chapter. This is the beginning of the main chapter in 26/11 episode, where Rana hopefully will sing and he will spill the beans of the entire episode.
You're absolutely right. And Mona, you must continue to join us, because we will continue to bring out all these details. You know, there was this generation that really wanted good relations with Pakistan. Despite the 1993 Mumbai blast, where 257 innocent Indians were massacred by Pakistani terrorists, ISI. And all of that was also documented very effectively, how these people, Dawood Ibrahim would send them to the Middle East, then they would travel to Pakistan, so that entry stamp into Middle East will be there, but no exit stamp. And an exit stamp from Middle East would be there, but no entry stamp into Pakistan. No exit stamp from Pakistan. That is how Pakistan's state complicity comes out in public domain, and not one, but multiple instances. And it's not just Dawood Ibrahim in 1993. Hafiz Muhammad Saeed, then the Kargil War of 1999. And Mona, I have covered this on ground. I've covered Kargil War on ground, so I know what Pakistani treachery is after that Lahore bus journey. I've covered the Parliament attack. I've covered the Red Fort attack, I've covered the Jammu Kashmir Assembly attack, I've covered the Akshardham Temple terror attack, and I've covered terror attacks across the length and breadth of our country, sponsored by your country, by your army, by your ISI. So trust me, this India will not be taken in by Pakistani sweet words. We want sweet action on terrorists. If that takes place, great. If that doesn't take place, Mona, Pakistan perhaps will continue to bleed. I have more breaking news that's coming in on this special broadcast on India Today. So Rana is now being arrested officially in India. The 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks key plotter is undergoing medical tests. Remember, India Today told you first, it's coming out officially now, but we told you earlier the process that was going on. So he's being examined medically after that long flight from the United States of America. So from Miami, they flew to Bucharest. There was an 11-hour halt at Bucharest. Then they took the next leg of their journey. They've landed in Delhi. There's a medical examination that is going on. Once that medical examination is complete, then that cavalcade will leave the Palam technical area and he will be brought to the NIA Special Court in the heart of Delhi. Srishti joining us with the latest on this. So Srishti, that process of law, standard operating procedure, medical test done first. Of course, his heart rate must be up. He knows his game is up for sure. Tell us more what's happening.
Well, Gaurav, we're right outside Patiala House Court right now. There's intense, very huge police deployment at various gates of Patiala House Court, which still keeps the speculation as to speculation intact as to which gate will the NIA and the officials be bringing Tahawwur Rana to Patiala House Court from. As far as the legal procedure goes, he has been officially put under arrest. Post that, after a medical examination is conducted, he has to be produced before court, before the special NIA judge in this particular case, within 24 hours. Once he's produced before the court, he's also, as we have now learned, has been assigned a lawyer to represent him in this particular hearing as far as his custody hearing is concerned, because the NIA in all likelihood will seek his police custody to question him. They are finally, after years, so many years post the Mumbai terror attacks, they're finally getting to question him. NIA will have to put forth their case before the court, explain on what grounds exactly are they seeking Tahawwur Rana's police custody. Post that, of course, Tahawwur Rana's lawyer will also get a chance to put forth his arguments, oppose police custody in all likelihood in this case. The Delhi
Stay with me, Srishti. I need to slip into a quick break here. We'll be back with the headlines and our top stories, and very fast-paced developments are taking place on this story. So just moments from now, he'll be out of that Palam technical area. We are told the medical examination is almost complete. So stand by. I'll get you more on the other side of a quick break. Mona, stay with us. Ambassador Dogra, stay with us as we come back to this continuing coverage on India today. India finally gets custody of that key 26/11 Mumbai terror attack plotter.